Hey folks, it's Eric from Support Adventure once again, and I'm going to tell you some ways that you can improve your MSP help desk culture. Now, the lifeblood of your business is the happiness of your clients, the service they're receiving and their perception of it. And well, how are they ever going to be happy with this service unless it's being delivered by people who are happy with their jobs and people who are, content and not stressed out and not really, feeling like they're up against it every day. So basically, I'm here to tell you how to improve that culture so you can improve the retention rate, you can improve the satisfaction, you can improve the team spirit of your team. And I've thought of some examples. Now, this list is not exhaustive. It's not all of them. I'd love to see in the comments below if you have any more that you think can help with this. But from my perspective, as someone who provides staff to all these different MSPs around the world, these are things that will help. So the first one is having written standards and guidelines that all follow. So everybody's on the same page. Literally, it's a page in your documentation or a well-indexed sort of knowledge base or guide or whatever you want to call it, requirements of what people in different parts of the job are doing and how it works. So, when you're growing an MSP, there comes a time when you have to get serious. And by serious, I mean that you don't just hire people and wing it during training and sort of just let them loose and tell them to fix the client's problem. No, you need to get organized. And one of the best things you can do to organize your help desk is to write down the way that the whole thing is supposed to work so that everybody knows that there are consistent standards that are being applied to judging their performance, to judging whether they're doing their job correctly, and that there's no moving of the goalpost that's occurring constantly. Because some of the most chaotic MSPs I've worked with, they do constantly move the goalpost. So they don't have anything in writing. They have all these policies that are sort of parroted in a broken telephone manner between the different staff members and procedures that sort of did evolve from people winging it, and nobody's written anything down. And when a client complains, the owner or the manager will go to the person that is involved in the incident that led to the complaint and say, why didn't you do this, why didn't you do that, why didn't you do it? And because, well, they've done something else in the past and nobody ever gave them clear instruction. And I mean by clear instruction, something in writing that told them how the MSP help desk is supposed to run. So have written standards and guidelines that all follow. So if you have a written standard on how timesheets should be done, if it's quarter-hour increments, if it's 4 lines for every 15 minutes, it's billed on those quarter-hour increments. If it's anything like that, if it's this is how our ticket notes look, this is what the last line looks like, just put it all in writing. And when you're training people, tell them this is what you're being judged by, following this. Now, if you review later and you find that what you wrote down, the rules and stuff like that, are no longer bringing the result that you want for your clients, you constantly tweak this. But if you don't have anything written down like this, then you know nobody will ever feel like they're all on the same page, that they're all being judged equally, and nobody will ever feel like the management isn't just making that up as they go along. It's like it's all about consistency here. So next one on the list is have group huddles. Now, this is a time where everyone can get together and just, as a team, just get together and sort of say, hey, this is what I'm really excited about, that I'm working on today. Hey, this is what I don't know what I'm doing today. A ticket I have, I'm not really sure what to do. Can anyone offer advice? And this is what I'm proud of that I did yesterday. That could be at the start of the day. It could be at the end of the day, whatever it is. Just have a time when all the team get together and they can raise anything that they feel the team would help with in a way that sort of it should be a call, hopefully a video call, and people should be able to throw things in, and just so the group sort of harmonizes their energy for a bit. Everyone's on the same page. It feels like a team. It feels like a group huddle. This is what a lot of sports teams do before the game, before they go out on the field with their respective positions. And this is, for remote working, it's a sort of team spirit that tends to be quite lacking. So have group huddles. Next one on the list, more about consistency. Have a dispatcher or a service coordinator or someone like that to assist and guide technicians and organize them. So basically, a lot of the time MSPs are chaos is because they don't have this person who's the center of all the tickets that are on the help desk and how they're being fulfilled, and the center of fulfilling SLAs, the center of taking in new tickets and deciding who should do it. you know the help desk culture can get really toxic and competitive. For example, when you have technicians who are fighting each other to cherry pick tickets off the help desk, this can be a very negative thing, because then you can get one guy going, oh, but that guy always takes all the easy tickets. And then, no, prevent this by having a dispatcher to organize the technician's time and make sure that the distribution of tickets is fair and that somebody's got their back on the tickets. Like, if you're a technician and you can't solve a ticket, and you need to escalate it, would it be easier to just hand it back to a dispatcher who can find someone who can? Um, or would it be easier to just write a message in a chat group that has all the 10, let's say, technicians in the company on there, and in that chat group, just hoping someone will eventually write back and take ownership of the ticket? No, have dispatcher to guide that escalation and find the escalation or destination of someone who can actually help solve it. For example, have a dispatcher who picks up the phone with the clients when they call in, and finds out who they are and what the issue is about and whether they've tried basic troubleshooting steps. Have a dispatcher who ensures that all of the tickets that come in the help desk have a relevant subject line, not just "please help urgent," but like Office 365 mailbox permission not working would be a really concise sort of one, with the username in the ticket then and all that stuff. What's it actually about? And is it categorized right? Is it assigned to the right person? What's the urgency? Someone to manage all of that, rather than random tickets going to random people at random times. The help desk culture will be really too much of a crapshoot when clients send a ticket in, because if technicians are competing for tickets, if random technicians are answering the phone when clients call in, when they're doing random other stuff, and have a dispatcher and have them be sort of the nerve center of everything. Have that dispatcher follow up on tickets where it's waiting for the client to take a step rather than the technician having to do it. Oh, dispatch followed up to see if this has been done yet. I don't have to worry about that. And dispatcher should be to a dispatcher should be to a technician like a nurse is to a doctor. Making sure that everything's correctly set up so that the technician can go in and do their best work. All right, next one. Incentivize documentation and mentoring. So this is where a lot of MSPs do not put enough time, and that is actually making sure that documentation is kept up to date, and that a certain amount of mentoring based on documentation occurs. What I mean by mentoring based on documentation: if I am a frontline technician and I escalate a ticket, does it just disappear from me forever? Or is there somebody like a dispatcher or a senior technician who's mentoring me, who makes sure that after they solve the issue, they bring the reverse escalate the ticket back down to me and make sure that the notes are good enough so I can read it and understand what actually solved the issue in the end, so I can grow as a person? I would incentivize that and provide a reward for the technicians that most did that. I would provide a reward at the end of the month for the technician who flagged the most number of missing documentation items. So when they're doing their job and they flag it, and they couldn't find the information because you have a consistent format that is supposed to be applied, and the documentation is either not there or not in that consistent format, and they flag that and it gets rectified. The person who does that the most, yeah, they should get a reward, and sort of have a culture of gamifying documentation, rewarding an improvement of documentation, and uh, rewarding this sort of documentation that helps the whole team grow. Because once you have a culture of which involves more than, let's say, 5 technicians, there's no chance that without a concerted effort in spreading knowledge around the company, which is what documentation is meant to do, that you will actually be able to grow the skill of the whole team. It will still be every man for himself. Oh, that guy knows this and that guy knows that. And if you put in a system for um, the people who know stuff sharing it with the rest of the team and bringing them up to date by providing good documentation, and B, those other people who are more on the receiving end, or basically anybody who realizes something's not there when it should be, flagging that, and you make a way that that can be sort of judged, rectified, all of that stuff. You'll have a culture towards better documentation, and therefore, honestly, it'll get a lot better because people will have an incentive, right? All right. Also, I would say that you should applaud good client feedback. I mean, in the little huddles, if there's somebody yesterday who said, "Wow, Johnny gave such great service yesterday. I'm so glad he called." Say that in the meeting, say that in the huddle, pat Johnny on the back, because a lot of the time, some MSPs have the attitude which is basically, well, if there ain't no complaints, we good. And no, there should be raving reviews of your service. That's what will lead to a word of mouth culture that will make your business grow without you actually investing more in marketing. Just please your clients, and they'll tell their friends, basically. And yeah, when someone contributes to that, when someone gets a rave review, pat them on the back. Maybe even there can be a bonus for this. A lot of companies have like systems built in on the closing of every ticket. It sends a survey to the client, and they're able to sort of like just sort of say, "Hey, I'm happy, not happy, etc., etc." And just make sure it gets back to the people, and that you're rewarding good work, and also figuring out constructive ways to criticize bad work when a client complains, because a lot of the time when the client complains, it might be an error in your system. It might be because that technician's done 30 tickets that day, and they're asked to answer the phone while doing 30 tickets a day, and well, they seemed a little absent when they picked up a phone, and a client, wanted to raise a new issue, for example. But you have to look at both the complaints and the successes, the raving reviews. So yeah, that's a good one. Um, all hands on deck alert. This is the next recommendation to improve your help desk culture, because what I mentioned before with technicians working 30 tickets a day on the front line, a lot of companies will just be like, yeah, frontline techs, they got to eat it. They got to just take like all the work that comes in the front line, because we want to leave our higher level techs free to do their higher level stuff. But one of the best MSPs I work with actually have um, an all hands on deck sort of notification that they send out to all of their techs. And any senior tech that's working on project work and has a few minutes will just go on the help desk and knock down some tickets to reduce the load, basically. And in times where the front lines get overloaded, your brothers from up above can come and really quickly and efficiently, if they're organized properly, um, you know take the load off. So I mean, the worst thing you can do with frontline technicians is have them consistently, or for a long period of time, or for days and weeks, feel overloaded. So I mean, either have a way of getting people on there really quickly from the upper parts of the company. Even if you're the owner and you have to do some tickets, do that, because your front line is that's the face of your company, basically. For the people, the end users who are dealing with the help desk every day, those are the faces that they know. You, as the business owner or help desk manager, might talk to the operations manager of the company, or the office manager, or something, like have that higher level relationship. But the people need to feel that they're getting a consistent level of service, and it can happen when it's overloaded. So having all hands on deck, and you know t- take the load off. Now, the last thing is a really interesting idea that I picked up from Reddit MSP, which is a very fascinating forum. If you haven't checked it out, check out MSP on Reddit. And basically, there's lots of MSP owners there who have open discussions anonymously about what it's like to run an MSP. And people like me as well are there commenting. And yeah, it's a great resource. And anonymous nature of Reddit actually really benefits the forum, because people can actually vent, and they can actually let things out. So the tip that I picked up from there is actually having a similar sort of anonymous way of your techs in your company giving feedback about what they don't like about their job and the way things are run at the company, to be able to do that anonymously and write in and give tips. Because okay, so running support adventure where we hire technicians and assign them to MSPs. and monitor the results and basically be the middleman in that, listening to both sides and seeing how we can create greater harmony in the relationship so it's a win-win-win for all. We get to hear a lot of stuff that you know they wouldn't tell the MSP if they were direct employers. But since we are an agency that is trying to find them the best MSPs in the world and the best technicians in the world and help them both get better, they will give us the feedback of what they don't like directly. And honestly, like it's a lot of stuff that really is worth considering. It's not just whining, because where there's any weakness in structure or ambiguity in procedures, taking us back to the first one of having written standards and guidelines that all follow, or the overload issue on the all hands on deck, where there is any stressing factors, you're doing damage to your help desk culture. And so giving an outlet for people to vent is very valuable. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope that you, as someone who's running an MSP or working in an MSP in an influential role, will take some of these on board on how to make a better culture. If, there's lots of stuff, lots of other stuff, of course, the good old pizza day that I didn't put in this video. But really, like, write in the comments below if you have some other suggestions. And, I'm here to help. I'm always happy to get on an exploratory call with an MSP to see how we can trade ideas, help you build a better structure, help you find some great people around the world, and save money staffing while getting a higher level of talent. So that's what my business supported venture is all about. My name is Eric, and I'll catch you later. Thanks a lot, guys.